that created a lot of resentment in me through my earlier years between myself and my stepfather. Experiment with alcohol, but then I found Xanax in high school, and I realized that really made me not care what you thought about me. At 17, I got my first DUI. 2 years later, got my second and third one. Growing up, I had separated parents. I never knew a life where my mom and my biological dad was together. And that created a lot of resentment in me through my earlier years between myself and my stepfather. But I had a very, very great upbringing, vacations every year, a wonderful home. There was love when I chose to accept it. But most of the time I just preferred to see the negative, something that fit my viewpoint to validate how I felt about how I was growing up. And I never really truly appreciated, my stepfather or my mother and how they raised me and the opportunities that they gave me. Like most teenagers, I started out smoking weed, experimenting with alcohol, but then I found Xanax in high school, and I realized that really made me not care what you thought about me when I was on it. So my entire teenage years became a quest for that substance and that feeling. At 17, I got my first DUI. 2 years later, got my second and third one, all from alcohol and Xanax. And slowly but surely, I drifted into more hardcore drugs, meth, cocaine, until eventually I was just an absolute narcissistic, alcoholic meth head, and used people. I'd like to say that I was addicted to me. Whatever made me feel good was what I liked, whether that be women, drugs, notoriety in my job world, what I was doing professionally. Whatever validated how I felt and made me feel like I was somebody, that's what I was going to choose and pursue. Well, I first heard about A Better Way. I had just gotten into a physical altercation with my grandfather and kicked out of his place, and I was on my way towards a hotel. This is probably 3 years ago, and my grandmother's pastor, Sean Davis, his brother, Nathan Davis, is a graduate of the program, and he had come back and he's testified to the program, and so is Jamie Torres, who's an associate pastor at her church. So there was a connection there, and I had heard about the place, called Billy from the hotel. Wasn't too sure about it. Had other programs that I had been to in the past that were easier, shorter term programs, places where you could smoke cigarettes. So I opted at the time to go do that program again. Twice. I did that program twice, relapsed in transition both times. I had found myself in a hotel again where I was just withdrawing horribly from alcohol, and I had found myself out of money, spent all my tax return money. My only option was to come back to Hickory, North Carolina at my aunt's, and she basically was like, look, I got a tent you can put up in my backyard till you figure something out. And I was like, all right, that's better than being here in Wilmington, not, in the woods. So I did that, went through my withdrawals, finally got a clear head, and I was like, God, maybe A Better Way is what I need, it can't hurt to not be homeless for 18 months, So I called Billy, I was like, look, I'll come, dude, whatever, Mom's friend, Anthony, brought me down here, drove me all the way, the 4-hour drive to Georgia. And I showed up at A Better Way. My first day at A Better Way, I'm pulling up and I'm hitting my vape for dear life, because I realized that I am not about to smoke any nicotine for a year and a half. And that was always a safety blanket for me. But, so I'm getting out of the car and I'm looking around the grounds and I'm hitting my vape, looking around. I'm like, dang, this place is pretty nice. And eventually Nathan David was like, you're going to have to give us that, right? And I was like, all right, So I came in on a Friday. It was a weird day. The power was out. So they did my intake and transition. And I put on the purple shirt, I hand over my phone. Funny story about Mike Coker, God rest his soul, but he went through my clothes and he picked up my underwear and they were just disgusting and awful. He was like, yeah, we're going to get you some new underwear, bro. And I was like, please, I was just so pitiful and like just so broken from the life I was living. But it's a funny anecdote I have about him. But so they dropped me off actually with Dylan Malavy. And I walk around the grounds with Dylan for 2-3 hours. And he's showing me the ins and outs, telling me, what you can and can't do. And, I came in on a Friday, so it was a free night. So I was thinking this place is sweet, had cheeseburgers for dinner, went back, watched a movie. Enjoyed the whole weekend TV. I was like, all right, this is pretty chill. Then Monday came. And at 4:45, that didn't really, the 4:45 didn't really bother me. I've opened many breakfast joints, so it was easy to wake up. But that was my first day at A Better Way. The structure at A Better Way was not well received at first. Had a big problem with correction. And like everyone, I found it hard to see the need to have every single button buttoned. I didn't know how to fold a shirt properly, but I find myself now realizing that the problem was never the program or the rules or the structure. The problem was my perception, that these things needed to be taught to me so that I could be faithful in the little things. And if I'm faithful in buttoning my shirt, I'm probably going to be faithful in cleaning my house when I have one. And I needed it to be broken down, like the walking in line, the being told every single thing to do. I did it my way for a long time, and the best I could do on my own was in a tent. So I quickly realized second, third month, like, all right, these guys, I'm seeing a lot of examples of guys that are living better lives because they submitted to this. Maybe I should just try it. Maybe I should just get in line, do what they're saying, and give this thing a shot, So I'd say my perception really changed kind of midway. It took some praying. I'm trying to, because I didn't mind the waking up, and the schedule keeps you so busy that it keeps you out of your head. And that's a bad place to be when you're not wanting to be somewhere, is in your head and thinking of all the places, all the things you could be doing outside of it. That's a small but many blessing this place offers, is that they keep you so busy and so give you so many responsibilities to take care of, that if you focus on being faithful in them, you don't worry about too much of what the world has to offer you. Yeah, the brotherhood is awesome. I don't want to have a cookie cutter statement, but the brotherhood was big for me because I was an isolator. I love to be alone. I love to drink alone. I love to go through my pain alone. And to have friends, I'd met friends in programs before, or friends from high school, and but never sober friends, never friends that I could lean on, that I could develop friendships with, guys. It taught me how to be a friend, taught me how to be loyal. There was mistakes I made in the program where I hurt friends, where I turned my back on friends, and it really made me look in the mirror and reconsider some things about myself. And it showed me how to hold someone accountable the right way. Yeah, my trip to Florida was a great break. It was very looked forward to. I actually didn't get to go until like my 14th month. And I got to go with two of my closest friends in Tanner and Hayden. And we talked about it the entire time we were in the program. And to see that moment realized was a blessing, that we all had made it, that we had all made it down here together. We're doing the things that the ministry offers through the Florida trip. And just the fellowship that I had, and I got to know the other guys that come on a deeper level as well. We pull up to the house, it's like, man, this is a lot better than pulling up the property. This is, Brother John was awesome. He just let us chill. He just let us kind of do our own thing, within reason, like with high accountability in place, obviously. But it was just nice to be able to just feel like you've earned something, kind of. Transitioning into, the morning of the baptism, I kind of went back and forth because I had been baptized before. And I was like, man, do I really want to, what does it mean if it's my fourth time being baptized? But I realized it doesn't have to be like that. It can be you intentionally making a statement that you're not going to be the same man that you were before. So that's what I treated it as. I just treated it as some stuff I'd picked up from my last baptism, some behaviors and stuff that was still following me. And I left it in the water. And pretty cool experience. I got to film some of the guys being baptized, getting thrown around by the waves. It was a joy to get to be a part of what you see through the ministry. You see the videos, you see that, and to be able to take part and have a hand in that was a blessing. And, at some point I looked back at the beach and frickin' Russell Brand standing on the ocean watching us get baptized. And that was a joy for me, So yeah, it was a really great experience. Better Way has changed my life. Through the disciplines, the workforce stage, all the positions that I've been privileged to work in, it's really made me a well-rounded individual to be able to walk in Christ in the real world. I truly feel like everything about me has changed here. I couldn't keep up with my phone for 2 hours before I came in here, and now, I'm keeping up with a pen for months on end. And that's just small victories that translate into bigger victories in your spiritual life. So I'm truly thankful for A Better Way for giving me the opportunity to come here. I'm going up to North Carolina in the 1st of August and going for my license restoration hearing. I haven't had my license in 10 years. And this place has given me an opportunity to line up all of that. And they're probably even going to give me a ride up there to be there for the hearing. So this place is just a blessing to any man who comes and just needs their life restored. Because the Holy Spirit really not only reigns on campus, but it reigns in the hearts of the guys that run this ministry. The Brother Dougs, the Brother Thomases, the Brother Kevins, Brother John, Brother Josh, the men that run this ministry have a strong spiritual walk with Christ, and it reflects in the lives we live while we're in the ministry. So I'm truly thankful that I got to meet these men, all the opportunities. I was in a frickin' movie. I never would have had that opportunity in my life anywhere else. So, moving forward, I'll never forget this place. I'll always not only carry the flag of Jesus Christ, but also a small one for A Better Way. And, just bring the next man up, and hopefully they will find the restoration that I found at this program.